grew up knowing the amount of their legend before you ever worked with them. So I want to just ask you a general question. And whoever wants to lead first and whoever wants to interrupt, that's fine too. Let's talk about the first time you met Quincy, whether you were working with him or whether you met him in a different arena. Greg, why don't you kick off?
It was 2 times. The first time, I was still in Detroit, which is where I'm from. And Quincy was in town for a signing of his newest album at that time called You Got It Bad Girl, right? And it's the one that you fold out and it's him in his pimp pose. He's like, looking all sexy, you know, and all leather and everything. He was really hot, you know. And so I left school early.
What was the first time you met?
Well, of course, I'd always heard about Quincy, especially my dad had worked on several of his film scores. And that was always, you know, he spoke so highly of him and how hit those scores were, The Pawnbroker. And
your dad was?
Joe Porcaro. Yes, yes. It was in the percussion section back then. Yes, thank you very much. And then when I left school early also, but this new producer in town, hot producer in town, David Foster, was all over the place, and he kind of latched on to me. I knew this synthesizer called the CS80, and David just brought me along whenever he had a synthesizer session. And one of them was, he had 2 songs on the new Michael Jackson album, Off the Wall. And he brought me along with him because Quincy wanted him to do keyboards on the 2 songs he had written. And so that was my first time meeting Quincy, Bruce, and Michael all at once.
But let me...
More than 50 years ago that I met Quincy, I was a teenager. And I was in a band called Power that was actually opening for Cannonball Adderley on the tour. And Cannonball loved our band, and he was very close to Quincy. And so he said, you know, guys, I want Quincy to meet you. And he took our entire band up to Quincy's house. We set up and played for Quincy Jones. Yeah, and here I am, a teenager, and I'll never forget, we did Emir Deodato's, we did 2001 Space Odyssey. We played at Quincy's house. First of all, Billy D. Williams was over there, you know, and so like, here you are, a teenager, but no pressure, you know, there's Quincy over here, Clarence Avant, you know, and so we played for Q, and he loved the band and said, you know what, we should make a record together, you know, and I'd love to produce you guys, and he was